everybody, it's Debbie here. Welcome back to my crafty den. Today I have a share of all of the index cards that I've been working on for the Index Card a Day Challenge. So the last one I believe that I showed you was June the 28th, and I have one for June the 29th. So let me explain a little bit how this occurred. So there's been a little bit of a change between the one that I showed you in the last video and the ones that I'm going to show you in this video. So I drove from New Brunswick back to Ontario, and when I got here, I really debated whether I was just going to drop this challenge or not. I figured that I wouldn't complete it, and I'm not one to usually give up once I've decided to do something. So I'm using this. So I'm going to bring this over and just show you. So I have this little caddy, and I have a few markers in here, black ones, and a highlighter. I have a few colored pens, 5 flares, I think, and some pencils, and just regular pens. And that's it. That's it. The only other art supplies I have are a couple of paper pads that I didn't get packed in the last round to go down east. And so therefore, I decided that I wasn't going to try to do anything extravagant. I was going to use the challenge for some downtime. I used to Zentangle. I don't anymore. My hand's too shaky for Zentangling, so I just call it doodles now because I end up with a few mistakes. And it's okay to not be perfect. That's fine. But I did this card, and then I thought, I have to do one more to catch up because it took me 2 days to drive out, and I was tired and I didn't want to do the other one. So this is where I lost the challenge. I did June 29th, but I didn't do one for June the 30th. No, I didn't. So I am going to show you what I did do though, and all with just this little caddy of pens and pencils. So I decided to just doodle, and on July the 1st, I have one, and one of the pens I have in here is a silver metallic pen. It's almost out now, so I'm pretty soon going to be done using it. But I did this one 3 times. So I just drew out it's kind of a dahlia, I think, but I drew it out in pen, because when you're Zentangling, you're not supposed to draw in pencil. You're supposed to just go with it. So just making leaves, I just started with a dot in the center, and I just started making leaf shapes. And I kept going. Well, then I shaded them in with pencil. I didn't like the look of them. I added a little bit of the brown to it, just some brown highlighting. I didn't like the look of that. So I added some of the gold pen, just sketching the lines in, not filling it in solid, because I didn't want to run out of ink in the pens that I had doing one card. But anyway, so that's what this is. You can see the shine of the silver where I decided to add silver. And I did that to cover up that color because I didn't like that color in there. But it is what it is. So that's that's what I did for that one. So then I sat in front of the TV, and I did not know what I was going to do. Absolutely did not know what I was going to do. So I drew a bunch of lines, just a bunch of lines, thinking that I was going to put leaves all over them. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to put leaves all over these. So I just drew 2 squiggly lines down each straight line that intersected. And I just added some silver echoing in between them. And I added, I didn't even finish this one. That one's missing the green. So I used a little bit of a green pen and a little bit of a pencil to just do back and forth on every other one. So that's what I did for that. I just finished it off. And again, it is what it is. And then in this one, I wanted to try something different. So I just took the whole page and I took that silver metallic pen and I just drew lines this way, like this, and like this. And so starting from the center, I kind of drew an uneven quadrants of four quadrants. And then in each one, I just did kind of an echoing of all the silver pen. And then I just took my pink, what is this pen? It's a Papermate Ink Joy stylus pen. I had a few of those, and so I've got a green one and a pink one. So I used the pink and I just drew a different type of petal system in each quadrant. And then I put today's decisions are tomorrow's realities, because that's kind of what I feel like when I doodle these, and then the next day I look at them and I kind of go, I wonder what I'm thinking. So the next one I did similar, but I decided to use that green pen and a blue Sharpie, permanent Sharpie. So I drew my little flowers and stuff in my little quadrants. And I like the way that this one turned out. I like the blues, the greens, and the silvers together. I actually liked the way that that this pink one turned out too. So that was that. And then I did the same thing. I just did some big, and I did it on the, I didn't use the plain side this time. I used the lined side. So what I did to start this off with was I did a grid pattern on the lines. So I just drew every other line down, and then I herringboned kind of, or zigzagged, or whatever you call this. So that's what I did in the background, and then just drew a flower over top of it. So that one's okay. I like it. It's not too bad. I can't paint or draw. Like, I mean, I'm really terrible at it, and I figure that if I practice a little bit, maybe I'll get a little bit better. So this one, see my funny little fish? I told you I can't draw. So this one is an old Zentangle pattern. So I did the wavy lines that intersected, and then the way you draw the lines kind of gives it some dimension. And then the other ones, I thought it looked like seaweed. So with my orange pen and some shadowing with my pencil, I decided to put in some orange seaweed as well. So this one is orange and brown. So I don't have many pens, but I'm just trying to stay with color combinations that I think go together. So this one, I found my watercolor paints. So I have other watercolors that are a little bit better, but this was my first watercolor paints, and all I've ever used them for was journaling. And I thought, what happens if I just throw some blobs of color onto a card and then do everything with, so that's what I basically did here. I just did a bunch of purple onto the background, and then I sketched out a tree in the background and the houses and some birds and some doors and windows. And so that was that one. So we're up to July the 7th. And then, oh, this one's sticking a little bit to the one underneath it. So I did the watercolor thing again. So what I did was I kind of sketched with pencil, where just vague outlines in pencil of where I wanted to put some hydrangea style flowers. So the very, yeah, they're not hydrangeas at all, but I guess a style. I don't even know what you call that, but I decided to do that. So then I drew with the pencil my shapes out a little bit. Then I blobbed a bunch of green paints, and I did the colored first and I let them dry. Then I blobbed on some green paint around it and a little bit darker where I wanted the leaves. And then I went back, and you can see like the paint's not inside the leaves, and some of the leaves are a little bit lighter because there's no paint there. But that's what I wanted to do. So I just wanted to make some kind of abstract flowers, and that's the 8th. This is the 9th. After doing the abstract flower, I wanted to do something that looked a little bit more like a flower. So I kind of doodled this out and then just took my paint, got my paints wet. And so I did some light blue on this flower here. And then I just kept dipping my paintbrush in. I only have the paintbrush that's in those paints, which is a little fine liner. So I'm doing it all with that. So this is just like dotting the paint on top of the wet paper and letting it run. And then I knew I couldn't get a bird on there, but I decided this is the little sticker. So I took the colors from the sticker to do the flowers. I think it turned out cute. And then it was my husband's birthday on the 10th. So I just scribbled, and I did it all with the paintbrush. So this is all drawn on with a fine liner, like a long bristled fine liner. So it's very messy. And the one thing that I figured out from this is that you can't write with one of those paintbrushes. It just almost doesn't work. Can't do anything precise with it. So my next one was some watercolors. So I'm playing with watercolors now. So for 2 or 3 days, I've been playing with that watercolor set. This is what happens when you have nothing but just a few items. Try doing a challenge for yourself where you just take a few items and put them on your table, and you have to do something for a whole week, and that's all you get to use. So yeah. So this one, I was kind of thinking, no matter what galaxy we're from, we're all from the same place. And yeah, so this was July the 11th. That's what happens. I tried to use my black pen over top of this silver, and it didn't work. So it's just some little scribbled galaxy shapes over top of some purple watercolors, and I wet the whole page, and then I just kept adding from the 2 purples and mixing them together. And yeah, so that's what I did, depending on how much water and stuff got in there. So then I went back from the watercolors and I started Zentangling. And like I said, I've got a shaky hand. So this was July the 12th. I just started doing some of the old things that I used to do when I Zentangled, and just put some stuff together. Now, I gotta say, I didn't come up with these off the top of my head. What I did was I went on Pinterest to kind of refresh my memory on what some of the Pinterests look like, and then I took some inspiration from that. So this doesn't look like the inspiration piece, but I kind of got some parts of this from the inspiration piece. So and it probably wasn't one inspiration Zentangle that I found. This is probably 2 or 3, and I put them together. So that's kind of what I've been doing. So here, I've done this one many, many times. So you start by making a few, you just draw the lines and make a few cherries. That's all you do. And then you put a few more cherries, but they have to go behind the other one. So this one goes behind and in front of this one. So you can kind of, if you really went and looked, you could tell what order I drew them in. But all I did was drew some cherries and colored them in. And because I was doing this, and what I was thinking is one thing at a time, and then that way you get it right. So I wrote that on there a few different times. I've been trying to pack a little bit this week, and I just jumped from room to room to room. My head's not in it. I I'm all over the place. So yeah, it's a mess. It's absolutely a mess. So that's why I did the one thing at a time. And then I did one in this, I just wrote on here, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So this is just a feather. There's hundreds of them on Pinterest and different places, but all I did was to give myself a little, and it's still an index card. These are all the index cards, but these are the smaller ones. My bigger ones were at the other house. So yeah, I switched size of index cards, but I'm still doing them on index cards. So it's the challenge is the ICAD Challenge of 2020, and ICAD is an acronym that stands for Index Card a Day. So it doesn't tell you what you have to do with the index card. You just have to do something on an index card. So this one, I just drew some shapes and then kind of Zentangled a different something in each of the little shapes that created my feather. And what did I do? This one too, I saw this one on Pinterest. I wish I knew the name. I think it's just from a group. I don't even think it was a person's name. So I won't bother even linking that. But if you search Zentangle art on Pinterest, you're gonna find these things. Now this is my version of what they did, so it's a little bit better. And to me, blue and orange have always been contrasting colors on opposite sides of the color wheel, so I think they go good together. And so that's what I've done here. Now this is a, just in case you wanted to know, this is, the blue is, I believe, Sharpie, and the orange is an orange flare. So one of the things that I figured out is if I'm using the permanent colors, that's fine. But if you color something with flare and then take a wet paintbrush and add water to it, it runs all over the place. Like I could take this little bit of orange, add water to it, and probably paint the whole background orange, a light orange. So yeah, if you wanted to do something that was resembling watercolor, paint it with a flare pen and add water to it. So this is July the 15th, and then the 16th, I just, for some reason, I just wanted to draw a lighthouse. So I have in the background some little lines and sketches. So these stripes, I just did the blue stripes on, and then like these wide stripes, and then in each little separate one. My hand in the camera, my hand looks like it's moving in slow motion. So I don't know what's going on with this film right now, but yeah. So that's up until July the 16th. Today's the 17th. I'll probably get this on my YouTube and loaded for, I might get it up today, but if not, I'll put it up on the 17th. So, I mean, I might get it done today. Today's the 17th. I haven't done today's yet. Oh my gosh, see, I've even lost track of days. Being in quarantine all summer really throws you for a loop. So I'm gonna put these away, and yeah, so I hope you liked my little reveal. I'm gonna try to doodle something every day from now till the end of the month, and probably take a couple of days off to drive back if I leave before the 1st of August. But once I get the rest of them done, I'll come back and I'll show you those too. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye for now, and I will see you all in the next video. And if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, go do that right now before you shut this off. Have a great day, everyone.